Wasn't that so amazing? Round of applause. They literally went out of their way last week to sit down and schedule that in their amazingly busy schedule to create that talk for Family House. So I am just so grateful for Melissa Mitchell and David Castro for blessing the Family House stage. And hopefully next year we'll be able to get everybody on stage as we can, get together in person. Um, and so we're right at 5:30, and I want to bring up Mr. Jeff Jenkins. He will be talking about how to gain followers and build your social media up. So Jeff, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you up to the stage. There we go. What's up, fam?
What's up? What's up, beautiful people? What's up, Zai?
Yes. And this is, oh, by the way, this is our very own Austin, ATX slash Austin slash San Antonio Rattler.
Come
It's the
on.
whole team right
Come on.
here.
In the building. I love it. I love it. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. And I also, Mrs. Jenkins, I don't know if you're around. I know that it's your anniversary. Thank you for allowing us to borrow him for 30 minutes. We'll get right back to you.
Yes, appreciate you. Appreciate you. I definitely know she appreciated it. She's a gem. I'm excited that we're celebrating our 5-year wedding anniversary.
Aw.
Definitely a blessing. So
I love it. Well, first of all, I didn't realize that you were legit a celebrity. Like, what? Come on, Jeff. Chubby Diaries. So, this is your time to kind of tell the people who you are, your story, and how FAMU obviously played a part of that. And you have about 30 minutes, and feel free to open up Q&A if you want to later on. So, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
perfect, perfect. Now there's an issue with my slides. I have no idea what's going on with it, but hey, it is what it is. We'll make it work. Um, just let me know if y'all can see this. Uh, and I thought I'll add part of it to it, and I'll explain everything that I am doing. Let's just hope that it all comes up and works. Mm-mm-mm. Well, y'all, my name is Jeff Jenkins. I don't know what's happening to my internet right now, uh, but my name is Jeff Jenkins. I am part of the '04 freshman class at FAMU. I actually got my degree in music education. I actually don't know what's going on, so I ain't even gonna bring it up right now. Um, but yeah, I'm so sorry, y'all. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this. Camera, you will not win today.
Take your time. Take your time. You are part of family.
That's it. That's it. Um, well, yeah. So let's see if I can get this turn back on one more time, and it will get. And literally, it was just working like a couple of seconds ago, and now when y'all join, now it don't want to work. So, all right, let's try this again. I might, if the presentation part doesn't work, I'm gonna just probably just keep it like this and call it a day. Uh, oh, bad, boom, there we go. Well, yeah. Oh, now it's skipping. Now it's skipping. There we go. So this is influencer marketing, how to grow your brand, or how to grow and monetize. I first want to like hop into a couple of things. I want to talk about myself and things like that, and what FAMU has been and what it means to me. My name is Jeff Jenkins. I'm an award-winning content creator. Actually just won an award as a travel journalist as well. So I'm an award-winning travel journalist now. Never thought I'd be doing that because, like I told y'all before, I got my degree in music education. Nowhere did I think that I would become uh, a travel expert in any kind of way. Today we'll talk about who I am, influencer marketing, and how you can turn your passion into a business like I did, and then I'll take some questions. Um, I live here in Austin, Texas, like I said. I'm a proud FAMU alum. I used to be a choir teacher. I actually taught high school choir for 9 years. And I actually started a well project called the Mazi Project out in Rwanda, where we were building water wells in Rwanda. And that was such a great experience. And one thing I wanted to touch on real quick, man, y'all know FAMU is just one of the greatest schools. I actually would not be the person that I am today if it was not for FAMU. And you know, that's the story that everybody says, and it is true because if it wasn't for FAMU, I would have never got on the journey of traveling around the world. I think my sophomore year in college, I actually did a program called Camp Adventure. And while I was in Camp Adventure, um, that's where I got my first taste of international travel, where we actually got to be college students from FAMU and Florida State. We got to go around the world and work on American military bases. And my first stop was actually Japan. Um, since I've traveled to something ain't right. Since I've traveled to over 40 different countries, um, I don't know why all this stuff is going everywhere. So yeah, back in October 23rd, I'll get to that in a second. I don't know why. I think one of the sides skipped. But yeah, I've traveled to over 40 different countries. My favorite country is Japan. My favorite city in all of the world is New York City. And now I'm going to go back. I actually, doing, after I quit doing being a teacher, that's when I started the Amazi Project. And while I was actually doing it, I was in Rwanda building these water wells, and Rwanda is considered the land of 1,000 hills. And while I was just outside, just like looking out into the vast horizons, I was like telling myself, I was like, yo, I want to travel the world, get paid, and help people. And so that's when I got the idea of like, okay, let me join or let me think about becoming a travel expert or a travel influencer, because at that time, I think I had been to 20 something countries. And actually, another fellow FAMUan named Rachel Hill, she had a platform called Rachel Travels. And that's like my hometown hero. We went to school. We were at FAMU at the same time, and I actually remember when she quit her job. Like, she actually came to me. She was like, "Yo, I'm actually quitting my job, this high paying job that I have to pursue influencer marketing." And I was like, "Yo, you can actually get paid to do that." And so I was like, "Okay, I want to do that too." But it took literally a couple more years before I actually found the energy or the mustard to actually go for it. And so I want to like hop into influencer marketing a little bit, just to help people understand what it is and what it is that I do a little bit, and how you, if you are one trying to become an influencer or you're a business owner, entrepreneur, we had such a great panel right before, but just talking about even how businesses can use influencers to get their products out there and share their message. And so I'm going to hop into it now. Let's see. All right, let's talk about stats about influencer marketing. I'm going to give y'all a few stats about influencer marketing, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. Influencer marketing is expected to grow to be worth 13.8 billion in 2021. So right now we are on the projection of this type of marketing making 13.8 billion dollars. Before I can tell y'all this number, like, it just continues to grow. A lot of people thought that throughout the pandemic that this number would decrease, but a lot of tech companies and a lot of other companies, startups, were actually on the rise during the pandemic, and they actually grown throughout the pandemic into where now they're in the place of like, okay, hey, we should start putting our money towards this influencer marketing. And with the birth of TikTok and some other stuff, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, it really, really is now just like flourishing even more. So now we're in this place of like, okay, like instead of just being traditional marketing, people are now going towards the influencer marketing. The majority of brands, 59% have a standalone budget for content marketing, and 75% of them intend to dedicate the budget to influencer marketing in 2021, um, or this year alone. Crazy thing is, when I started back in 2018, a lot of things that I kept coming back to when it came down to influencer marketing was that like the brands was over there like, yo, we don't have money to actually pay influencers. And so they actually kept it separate. So if it was influencer marketing, it was one thing, but like traditional media, like ad revenue or like TV, newspaper, billboards, that was a whole separate thing. And so now they're actually combining that. And so it is definitely a great time to join this market. Another stat is that 56% of the brands use the same influencers across different campaigns. That's one thing that has made, I've learned that as being an influencer, that like, hey, once you get one brand, a lot of times you can start getting more brands. And a lot of times the reason that brands use these same influencers is because one thing I am going to mention in a little bit is about the consistency of that influencer. When somebody's consistent, that's when people start noticing and they want to use them as well for their campaign. So another stat says 67% of brands use Instagram for influencer marketing. Um, Instagram is definitely like the go-to social media platform for influencer marketing, but that number is growing in other ways, especially TikTok. TikTok is like one of the main, like is the fastest growing influencer marketing platform. And it's a really cool platform because I've actually seen way more engagement come out of TikTok than I have with Instagram. And a lot of people are being able to like buy stuff because they visually see something very quickly and then they go for it. And so, point example, I went to St. Thomas, and while I was in St. Thomas, I recorded an 8-second video, and that 8-second video was me at a tree, like posted up, like leaning on a palm tree. And I had my wife take the camera into me and then like go out into the ocean, and just you could just see the ocean. And that video went viral. And then I actually reposted that video again, and it went viral again. And multiple people started saying in the comments like, "Hey, I bought my plane ticket to St. Thomas. I'm staying here. I'm staying at the same place you're staying at." And so that is definitely cool because on Instagram, I never saw that. It'll take people like months before, like, "Hey, I finally took that trip," or "Hey, I finally booked that trip that I saw you do." And that was because of a picture instead of seeing the video. And so I wanted to mention that. And then the other stat was that micro influencers have a better engagement rate than mega influencers. I heard a stat that what is her name? The Kardashians, Kim Kardashian has an engagement rate of 1.2%, meaning that 1.2% of her millions of followers are actually seeing it. But with some of these nano and micro influencers, they have 10 to 20% engagement rates compared. So that means 20% or 10% of the people that are followers are actually seeing their content and actually engaging with it. So it's definitely a great time for micro influencers and nano influencers. And a nano influencer is anybody that's 5,000 and under, and a micro influencer, I believe now is around 10,000 up to about 75 to 100,000. So that is like the micro influencer rate. So now I want to like jump into how you can turn your passion into a business. This is one thing that I did, y'all. Like when I tell you that I was in this place of like, okay, I'm not teaching. Um, I am doing this water well project, and I think it's great, but it's just not like everything that I want to do. Um, and so that's what like really got me into the influencer marketing and building a travel brand for myself. And I'm just gonna show y'all and tell y'all some of the things that y'all can do, like if y'all are trying to go down this route of influencer marketing and how you can turn this passion. Like I had a passion for traveling. I love traveling. Now I've been to 40 different countries, and I can't wait to get back out there and go to more countries. And I get paid to do it. Like I said before, I wanted to travel the world, help people, and get paid to do it, and I definitely get to do that now. Um, so here goes some of my tips for it. Um, First, you have to commit over anything. That's one thing that I learned. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I read this book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. These are both great books to read. And it really comes back down to that mindset. If you want to do this, you actually have to commit to it. When you commit to it, I just actually got, like I just told y'all earlier, I'm on my fifth 5-year anniversary, and I have to almost commit to my wife every single day because like commitment is strong. Like when you say you're going to do something, like you're putting your mind to it, everything else just goes like by the wayside. But you still got to commit to it and stay to it. So first is commit. Pick your industry. There's so many different industries out there. There's fashion, there's tech, there's travel, and etc. So you need to pick your industry that you want to be in, and then from there, one thing that I feel like separates me from so many other influencers or people that might have a lot even more followers than you than me is that I think of this as a business. Um, I read a lot of business books, and even that fourth point is learn the ways of the business. Like I read a lot of business books. I read a lot of, or get a lot of mentorship. I go to different conferences that have nothing to do with travel, but it's all about business. And me learning to come from that business mindset or come from that business like perspective, it has definitely helped me to create the brand that I wanted, and also how to generate income and things like that. And so I'm going to explain some more. That was the fourth tip. The fifth tip is find your niche. uh People kept telling me like find your niche, get a niche. So if it's travel, which it is, travel is so broad, I can just be like, oh, I travel, but nah, you need to find a niche. And so I actually help chubby people travel the world. I went for something that was unique. I went for something that was different. I niched down somebody yesterday, and I should have put it up here. Man, this she went I was featured in Travel Noir yesterday, and a young woman put into the comment section how she was saying like, yo, Chubby Diaries helped me uh like helped me travel the world. And this is the reason why he helped me travel the world, because he taught me how to navigate like size restrictions and weight limits when I am out there. It saved me the embarrassment of going somewhere and not being able to fit on something. And like that to me is like what I the reason why I niche down, because I want to talk to a specific group of people. And if you can get to that specific group of people, you can actually create a whole fan list of stuff. And also, the one thing that I've learned, and this has been so cool, somebody was just talking about it the other day. They were saying that if you're not first, you need to be better than everybody. Or you need to be better than everybody. Yes. So you don't have to be the first one to do it. You just got to be better. Or you don't also you don't want to follow the trend. You want to be the trend. And so if you create a niche for yourself, that it actually helps set you apart. That's what you want to do. And I feel like that's what I did when it came down to plus size travel. Before, nobody considered themselves a plus size travel influencer. I consider myself that, and I felt like that took me to the next level. It helped me win countless awards. And so the next point is to help turn your passion or to get into this influencer game is to be consistent. I know I mentioned it earlier. Yo, like consistency is where it's at. You can create content, but you just have to be consistent. So if you're doing it at least you just have to give yourself a time period. If you're going to post every day and let people know that you're posting every day. But then you got to post every day. If you can't do that, be like, that's too much for me. And be like, you know what? I can do 3 days. Do three. If it's 2 days a week, let it be 2 days a week. If it's once a month, let it be once a month and let it be known. But be consistent. So that means you putting out 12 pieces of like YouTube videos and things like that. So then the other stat is or point is build multiple streams of income. I realized very quickly that going through brands to make my money is just one source of income. But if I wanted to make even more money, I needed to invest in other streams of income. I have like a list of like maybe 5 or 6 different things that I do to actually generate even more money. And I actually use my brand partnerships to invest into my other streams of income. So that's what I do. And the last point is be everywhere. I love how somebody says it. You want to be omnipresent. It was Grant Cardone in that 10X rule book that I was talking about earlier. You want to be everywhere. You want people to be like, dang, I just saw you here. Dang, I just saw you on that. Dang, you over here. And somebody told me that, like one of my friends who's like really a really good friend now, I remember him telling me that a long time ago. He's like, dude, be on everybody's podcast. If somebody asks you to be on the podcast, get on the podcast. If somebody asks you to write a blog for them, write the blog for them. And I can definitely tell you, like, I said yes to a lot of things. And in me saying yes to all of these different things, it helped me be omnipresent. It helped me be everywhere. And like the more people see you, the more people get to know you. The more they know you, the more they like you. And the more they like you, the more they trust you. And so these are like my 5 things or 10, 8 things I meant to say. And I'll really quickly go back. Make sure that you commit, pick your industry, think of it as a business, learn the ways of the business, find your niche, be consistent, build multiple streams of income, and be everywhere. Um, I think, yeah, I think that was it. This is me in the first time I got into travel and leisure as a travel journalist. I thought that was great. This is me in St. Thomas. The other picture is me. I don't know where I was at. I think I was in Bali. I don't know. And then like you being your own brand is how things change. And yeah, thank y'all. Do y'all have any questions?
Let's see. Let's go to the chat, see what we got going on. All right. So we have a question from Mr. Gerald Brown. And it says, is it safe to say that the influencer industry has less of an emphasis on age demographics and more emphasis on affinity or interest?
Yeah. Well, just like I feel like for every market, for everything still comes back down to demographics, period. But it might not be about age. You know, like some things. Well, actually, a lot of things still are about age, and everything for the most part is broken up into the 4 generations almost. Like it goes like Gen Z, millennials, kind of Gen Y, but then like the baby boomers and um, what's after the baby boomers?
Is it the
I don't.
greatest generation?
Or before I think it's Gen Y. Like yeah, it's somewhere in there. It's like literally like 4 of them. So it's really out of those 4, and out of those 4, like that's the like the way that people go for it, and it it does. It depends on what it is for me personally. From my own perspective, it's all about like what it is that you're trying to target. And I love how when it comes down to influencer marketing or even marketing in general, it's like who's your avatar? Who is the person that your ideal customer? And if you can figure out who your ideal customer is, and that's what I actually bring to brands. Like I let them know, like, hey, my audience is from the ages of 25 to 40. um, they have an average income of $51,000. They're black, they're fat, or they're people of color. So I give all of these breakdowns when I actually go to pitch brands, or even when brands pitch me. These are the things that I bring up.
And make sure before I jump in, because I have a lot of questions for you.
Go ahead, go
This
ahead.
is a topic. In that same vein, how do you test the temperature that you're moving in the right direction for that specific thing in terms of like validating your market? Are there any sort of indicators to let you know, or KPIs to let you know that you're going down the right path? Would that be like monetary, signals like, hey, I'm getting more money if I'm doing St. Thomas pictures and photos and all that kind of stuff? Or is it the amount of contracts or contacts that you get from people as you continue on?
Yeah, I would say that I actually just got almost caught up in the conversation or the question that's coming up too. Um, I would say it's not money. It won't be the first thing. I can tell you that from the beginning, like period, point blank. Well, and unless like you can be a freak of nature and you do one video and that thing just goes like super popular, and then everybody is over here like trying to like jump on and like
Right.
they want to interview and do all this stuff with you. But I would say the way that you can go about it is go talk to your friends. Because once again, if you already committed, please keep that in mind before you do anything. Commit to it, because once you go talk to people about your idea and stuff like that, they are definitely going to give you their 2 cents, and it can be negative. And so if you're just in this place of like, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going to do. But just, I would say I went to my family, I went to some of my friends, I put it out there on the little bit of social media that I did have. I had an Instagram and a Facebook before, and I remember doing like a poll real quick, and it was like, "Yo, would y'all be interested in me talking about my travels in this way?" Blah blah blah, and like that actually helped me figure out what it is that I wanted to do. So there is that, but I also know that when you start, and this is the thing that I hear from so many different people. It's like when you start, bro, a lot of these like top influencers or ones with the millions of followers, they've been doing it for years, like
Mm,
over a decade, some of them. And
yep.
so a lot of times when people catch on to somebody, they don't know that they've been doing it for years, and
Mm.
not knowing that when they first started, they only had like their mama and like my wife, and shoot, you know what? Even my wife wasn't even liking photos. I used to have to tell her, baby, go in there and like the photo and share it. Like
She was minding her business. She wasn't saying you.
nothing. So it's like you gotta know for yourself that like, yo, I'm on to something, but you have to also be consistent, and over time things happen. Like it literally went from nobody looking at my stuff to multiple people or thousands of people looking at my stuff.
I love how you wrap that up. And so we have a question from Miss Erica Lloyd. Any tips for people who don't necessarily want to be the face of their brand, but want to make sure their values come across?
Um, yeah, so it I hear this one often. Somebody gotta be something. Like I would say something has to be the face, even if it's not a person. Something has to. People have to be able to recognize your brand consistently. Period. Even if it's through just like your words and stuff like that. Like something. I would say a logo. That's something that people can continue to recognize. Um, but yeah, you have to once you have to like find who is you, like what is it that you are like, or that you want to present, and be consistent at presenting that. So I know people that have like millions of followers just from them putting quotes up or posting memes or anything like that. So it really does depend on what it is that you want. It really depends on what your business is as well. I love how Wendy's is like clutch on, like I love Wendy's social media because they are hilarious,
They
and
are.
the way they went about it is like incredible. So you don't have to be the face of it, but your product needs to be the face. Something has to be the face of it.
Has to be some creativity woven in there somehow or another. Let's see. I have, I guess, an interesting business question for you. And so the first thing is, what about intellectual property? So when you take a photo for a brand, do you have the rights to those images, or is it considered work for hire?
Man,
Uh,
yeah, buddy. Ooh, boy, I tell y'all this. Let me tell you this. Well, I ain't gonna give. I ain't gonna call somebody out. But this literally just happened. Like 2 weeks ago.
What?
So you are like the photographer. It's my business. I people need to pay me for my likeness at any point. Like I tell them that period. So this brand wanted me to create some content for them, and they wanted a certain amount of pictures. And so I was like, okay, for the price, like first of all, money talks. So like even with Dave Chappelle, like when it came down to it, long as you pay me for my likeness, like
Yeah.
I'm good with it. Like, you know, but this company wasn't trying to pay me. What they wanted, they were trying to juice it. They was trying to milk it all. And I read my contract, and it's all about your contract. I read my contract, and they was like, they wanted my photos for eternity, and they wanted to be able to use them at their leisure.
Mm-mm.
And I was like, no. So, but that was because I've been learning. I actually think I have a couple of contracts where these jokers can do that, and I'm just praying to God that they never do it.
They
Um,
won't. We not.
yeah,
We're
we
not gonna
just.
let that happen. Keep it
But
up.
but it's in that same sense to where it's like you got to learn your contract. You got to know like photographer. Like once you start understanding more about like film, like yeah, like property rights or copyrights laws and stuff like that. It's not that much you have to learn, but knowing that as a photographer, you licensing photos or you actually like getting a royalty from it, like you need to put that in the contract and make it clear for people to understand because that's what I had to do to them. And then they even tried to take their own photos when I got to the place and was like, "Oh, we're gonna use those since you didn't want to take the photos. We'll take photos and use them for ourselves." I was like, "No, no, no, that's still me. You can't take photos of me." So I didn't give them permission. So they paid this photographer to come out, and he still got paid, but they're not gonna get my money. Like unless they paying me for it, they can't get it.
I love it. You gotta have boundaries, right?
Yep,
Life and relationships and business relationships. That's important.
yep.
We have a question from Miss Yuande. Are there places that are more or less friendly to travelers with extra body,
That's
mega
up.
Italian?
You know what? I would say there are. I definitely would. The first one that comes to mind is um, South Africa. South Africa, man, got some thick people there. I ain't know it. South Africa, Rwanda, those are like a couple of places automatically that just come to mind. And those are two African countries that I love so much because there's just like other plus size people in those countries. Like being able to sit down at restaurants and stuff like that, and the arms it ain't them little tiny chairs they giving you. So that's the one thing I love about South Africa. I went great white shark diving. I actually never seen a fat person with a wetsuit on. So they had my size, which I was mind blown by. So it's them same things. Like that's why I'll be vibing with some of these places.
I love it. I have two more questions because
Go
we're
ahead.
over time. But I think these are very critical, and I love the flow of this conversation. I can you talk more about the business aspect? I'm really curious to know if someone is interested in kind of going down this path. How should they incorporate a business? Should it be a LLC, a corporation, have a board? Like, what sort of setup? Because we know that it's obviously a business, right? Where like is it freelance where you can do like a sole proprietorship? Like, what's your tips on that?
Yeah, I mean, until you get an employee, it's always going to be sole proprietorship. So I personally would recommend people get their LLC. So if you get sued or anything like that, they can't come after your persons, but they can come after the business. So
Yes.
so that's the reason why I would say go for the LLC. And that's all of this is more so for tax purposes than anything. Um, I also with like or LLC, but then get a DBA. Either one, you need something. Like
Yes.
put something on the books. Like it's so much better to do that. And I know like when you ain't really making money at first, You be like, oh, what taxes am I gonna pay and stuff like that? But man, pay the taxes, um, and get your LLC because you never know. You never know that somebody really come get you, especially if money is involved, and you don't want them coming after your house or your car. So,
Yeah. And that seems like, believe in yourself that those opportunities will come to you,
mhm.
and that you're worthy enough to get that. So I
You
feel
know
like it's
what? That's so mind blowing, and thank you for saying that. Yes, you know what? I forgot all about that part, and thank you for saying that because oh, I remember the first time like I went and got my first LLC, and I was like, oh, should I get this? Oh, I don't know, like, and I had to like believe in myself. I never think about that part. Wow, because I'm doing it now because and then I just stopped thinking about it, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, please believe in yourself. Please know that like the process to get it actually is a lot easier than you think. And if you live in that, if you live in your capital city of your state, like it is even easier. Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Believe, achieve.
That's
That
it.
should be the family thing, right? Excellence with care and darling.
Come on, come
Um,
on, come on.
we have okay, two more questions. I promise I'm gonna let
No,
you go. I'm gonna
we
let
good. We good right now.
you
We're doing
here.
wine and sip at 6:30. So we good.
Okay, okay. So I know that because I did some research on influencer marketing and all that kind of stuff for a project I did for my MBA. I know that there are a lot of these influencer contracts or influencer agencies that are kind of popping up and that kind of stuff. Have you run across any of these agencies? And if so, would it be worth someone's time? Like we were just talking about incorporating your LLC and all that kind of stuff. If you have your business set up that way, do you need to hire someone to find you contracts or is there a middle ground?
Yeah, I mean, it's your preference and it's also your content and how well it's doing in a lot of ways too. So there are those agencies. I would tell you now, the agencies are making way more money than the influencer, and that sucks. And they're only giving influencers like like pennies to the dollar. Like some of these things be like, oh, we'll just give you a free product, or it's $50 here, $75, $200 here. When I do stuff, it's 2,000, 4,000, 5,000. Like, bro, I'm not like we knew them, and like why? You feel me? Like I charge $1,700 per post on Instagram. Um, so one thing I came to the conclusion was I actually hate pitching. So since I
Mm.
hate pitching, I was like, I'm just gonna produce bomb ass content so that brands and people start approaching me,
Yeah.
and that was so much easier. And then the conversation from you pitching compared to when they come into you is
Mm.
totally different. Like how you be nervous sometimes, like if you going up to somebody and asking them for something, that's how brands are when they pitch you.
Let me
Like
hold my
they be over there like, hey, hi, how are you doing? Yes, I don't know if you want to do this, but yeah. So
I love
so
it.
yeah, I definitely it's up to you. And then once you get to a whole nother level, which I ain't at yet, but I will be.
Real.
People use they have managers or agents that actually go out on their behalf, and a lot of times, once again, at that point, people are just pitching them, and so the manager and stuff like that, they're the ones that's just helping to negotiate. And if you're not good at negotiating, which is okay, there's somebody out there that can do that for you. Like they can help get more money for you than you expected, and they will do that because they make a percentage of what you get. So it's worth it.
I
But
love
it's
that.
just where you're at, whatever you're at, whatever season you're in, and whatever your preference is. Because I have a lot of friends that are even like getting those like 6-figure contracts that are doing it all on their own and then use no agent.
That makes total sense and very in-depth answer. Thank you for that.
Oh, no
And
problem.
um let's see here. The last question we have for you. Oh my gosh, we're 10 minutes over. But we have a break coming after this. So
Okay.
the question again from Miss Erica Lloyd is what is the number one tip for remote workers? And what should we look for when traveling?
The man, I don't know about a number one tip. one thing that I like about remote work is going to these cheap countries, like going to these countries that are cheap and meaning as like Bali before it was closed down to us. You can go to Bali and you can get this like beautiful villa for $400 a month. Internet, all that, everything just like included in your expenses for like $400 with an infinity pool. So it is. I love being able to like travel and be in places where is our dollar goes further, especially if you making American money. It really goes far. And so finding those places, I think also finding places where there is that like community of digital nomads,
Mm,
that really helps because a lot of times a lot of these remote workers go to the places where the internet is plentiful, and the internet works well. So I would always say go find some place that has some good internet because if you're having to continue to communicate with your employer or your boss or whoever your business, you want to be able to have good internet.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Mexico is a great place though, sis. Mexico, when Bali opened back up, go to Bali. Yes, Hawaii got a little program right now going on where you can go travel. If you go there, they'll pay you some kind of money to just be to Iceland. Like there's a whole bunch of places.
Mm,
Pax Light on Gabby Beckford from Pax Light. She has a whole bunch of those like scholarships or ideas that for remote workers and how they can go travel to these different countries, and how some of these countries are paying them to come.
see, make it advantageous for you. Follow your dreams and let somebody else pay your bills.
Come on,
But
come on,
know
come on.
your worth and boundaries and believe in yourself, all that stuff. This has just been so amazing. I'm so happy to find out that you have the juice. You got all the clout and all the juice in this whole entire time. Oh my goodness. I'm just thank you for sharing your time with us today. And I really wanted to highlight you because we were talking about transferable skills earlier with the conversation with Aisha Horn, where she actually
That's my homie.
also, you know, Aisha too. Okay,
Yeah,
she went to school for journalism, and now she is doing video editing. And it's just like, um, as you are a young person, it's okay to kind of like change your mind and all that stuff. And that's the
yeah,
message that I want to kind of pull through to perspective FAMUans, prospective rattlers. The biggest thing always, again, every single conversation I've had, social capital. Your people, your network is priceless. You can
yeah.
change your major, you can change your path in life, but you know, having that network and all that stuff to kind of help back you up is something that you just can't recreate. And I'm just so happy to know you. I'm so happy that you are a part of our chapter. And yeah, hopefully next year, you know, we'll be back on site in
Can't wait.
Six
Can't
Square,
wait.
downtown Austin, and maybe you can do
And
this again.
Austin is popping right now. We were downtown earlier today. We did a little staycation, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god! I was like, is the pandemic happening still? No, it's not.
And you
Not
know they're
yet.
not wearing no mask in Texas.
Well, no, I just want to tell you, thank you so much, man. I love my family, family. I can't ever say it right, but y'all know what it is. But I am so proud to be a FAMU alum. Even I was just in an article in Travel and Leisure, for the February edition, and it had dang, I forgot my boy name that quick. Golly, but he on Trevor Noah. He's a comedian. Um, and dang, why his name just literally left me. But it was so great to have. Oh, and that same magazine edition. It was three of us that was from FAMU that was in it, and I
Okay.
just thought that was like the greatest thing. And Xavier was one of them. He was on, or he mentioned something earlier, from the Black Austin tours, Black Austin history tours.
Oh, Javier. Okay, okay,
Javier,
yeah.
yes, Javier. Thank you, uh, Javier. He was in it as well, so it was just so beautiful in the pride, like me being able to help our school and us being able to champion and be like proud of just the different accomplishments that we all get to do. Like it's great to be a part of this social network.
Yes, absolutely. Florida, Texas is here with the flag. We representing So don't sleep on us.
That's
Uh,
it. Don't do it.
don't sleep on us.
Thank you again.
But yes, absolutely. Well, you enjoy the rest of your anniversary today,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you around. Oh yes, and please plug your social media and tell people how they can support you and follow you.
Oh, for sure. It's Chubby Diaries __ on Instagram, and it's Chubby Diaries on TikTok. You can also go to chubbydiaries.com. And whenever you see an article or something come out that has me in it, please share it out. Be like, oh, look at Jell. That's my friend. You can call me a friend because we all friends. So, man, please share and just like continue to. There's a movement that I got going on. And so I just want people to be a part of it and support it. So, y'all are amazing. Thank y'all.
Oh yeah, and you forgot to shout out the Orange County.
All day. Orange County, FLA. That's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So we're right at 6:15, and we're going to give you a 15-minute break because we are on to the last part of the evening. So we want you guys to get up, get some water, stretch, because we have grown folks night coming a little bit later. So take a break, take a load off, and come back here at 6:30. And Miss Raquel Jackson, marketing maven, will give her talk. All right. So we'll see you in 15 minutes.